And moving to the United States, the House of Representatives has overwhelmingly passed a new bill to fight anti-Semitism. The measure, which will now be considered in the Senate, allows the Education Department to restrict funding to universities that tolerate anti-Semitism. However, critics say the bill has been brought to choke the ongoing student protest against Israel's war in Gaza. So what exactly does the bill say, and how, in fact, will it affect the protesting students? Our next report explains.
The United States has introduced a new bill to combat anti-Semitism. The bill is called the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, and it was overwhelmingly passed by the House of Representatives on Wednesday. The move comes as pro-Palestinian protests grip college campuses across the country.
We're here to discuss the little Gazas that have risen up on campuses across America and the liberal college administrators and politicians who refuse to restore law and order and to protect other students. These little Gazas are disgusting cesspools of anti-Semitic hate, full of pro-Hamas sympathizers, fanatics, and freaks.
Now the measure will go to the Senate for consideration. And if it were to become law, it would codify a definition of anti-Semitism that was created by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, or the IHRA, in 1964. So what exactly does the new bill say? Well, it requires the US Department of Education to use IHRA's definition of anti-Semitism when enforcing federal anti-discrimination laws. The definition says that anti-Semitism is, in part, a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. The law would also allow the Education Department to restrict funding to colleges which are perceived as tolerating anti-Semitism. However, critics have warned against the controversial measure. Rights groups have raised concerns that the definition might conflate criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. They say the federal law already prohibits anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Hence, the new bill is not required. Critics are also worried about the bill hindering free speech of students. They say the bill could be used to stifle campus protests against Israel's war in Gaza. For weeks, students protesting Israel's military actions have been facing accusations of anti-Semitism, and politicians have continued to criticize the widening demonstrations.
To every college president, I say remove the encampments immediately, vanquish the radicals, and take back our campuses for all of the normal students who want a safe place from which to learn. But when you see that video of raging lunatics and Hamas sympathizers at Columbia and other colleges, no, but when you look at it, I say, where did these people come from? I don't know people like that. I mean, I deal with a lot of people. Where do they come from?
The pro-Palestinian protests that began with Columbia University in New York have spread to more than 40 campuses across the United States. The police have arrested over 1,500 protesters so far, using rubber bullets and tasers in some cases.
You have been warned as per City College to leave the campus. If you refuse to leave, you may be placed under arrest.
On Wednesday, police officers at the University of California ordered protesters to leave their encampment or face arrest. The order came a day after a night of chaos that saw violent clashes with counter-protesters.
The life-threatening assault we faced last night is nothing less than a horrifying, despicable act of terror. For over 7 hours, Zionist aggressors hurled gas canisters, sprayed pepper spray, and threw fireworks and bricks into our encampment. They broke our barriers repeatedly, clearly in an attempt to kill our community. Campus safety left within minutes. External security the university hired for backup watched, filmed, and laughed on the side as the immediate danger inflicted upon us escalated.
Several students left the protest site after the warning, but hundreds remained inside, putting on helmets, masks, and goggles. The bill comes as students call for universities to divest from Israel and urge the US government to call for a ceasefire. But President Joe Biden has pledged steady support for Israel in spite of the worsening humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. from the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill. We know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on First Post America.